I remember it was Tuesday. I had $27.13 in my checking account. Rent was due in 5 days. My gas tank was almost empty, and payday was still a week away, but what broke me wasn't the money, it was the realization that I'd been working nonstop for years, but I wasn't making a single cent, not a single dollar invested, not a single backup plan, just bills, debt, and anxiety eating away at me every night. I was tired. Tired of pretending I was okay. Tired of seeing everyone else talking about crypto, stocks, and portfolios while I was just trying to survive until next week. I thought investing was for the rich. Turns out I was dead wrong. I didn't grow up learning about money. My parents never talked about investing. All I saw was struggle. My mom worked 2 jobs. My dad worked and quit. And every conversation about money ended in tension. By the time I was 25, I was thousands of dollars in debt. Student loans, credit cards, medical bills, everything. I worked hard. I budgeted. I saved a little when I could, but investing? It sounded like a foreign language. I used to tell myself, I'll start when I make more money. I'll invest later. I can't risk losing the little money I have. But then it never came, until one moment. That changed everything. It was really just a small thing. My car broke down. How much would it cost to fix it? $200, and I couldn't afford it. I remember breaking down in the mechanic's parking lot. I cried in front of a stranger, feeling humiliated. That was the moment I realized I couldn't keep living like this. I couldn't just exist in survival mode. I didn't need a big raise. I didn't need lottery tickets. I needed a plan, and that night, I stumbled upon something that changed my life. I was surfing YouTube for answers and saw a video called Dollar Cost Averaging. The person said, you don't have to be rich to invest, you just have to be patient. Then they did the math. If you invest $5 per day, that's $150 per month, over 10 years, even with average returns, that could grow to $25,000 to $30,000 over 20 years? That could be $80,000 or more. My jaw dropped. Is that possible? Can I really create wealth for the cost of a cup of coffee a day? And more importantly, can I start right now? I don't have $10,000 to invest in stocks, but I do have $5. Only 5. I didn't wait until the first of the month. I didn't wait until I got it all. That night, I opened a brokerage account. I didn't even know what an ETF was. I just picked a simple index fund, one I'd seen mentioned many times. I deposited $5. Then I did it again the next day, and the day after that, and something started to shift inside me. I wasn't just saving. I was becoming an investor. It was messy. I made mistakes, but for the first time, I felt like I had a little control over my future. Now, I know $5 doesn't sound like much, but let me tell you what it really gave me: confidence. I no longer feel like I'm too late or too poor. Motivation. Every $5 I invest reminds me I'm building something. Hope, because every dollar invested is a step further away from fear and closer to freedom. This isn't just a financial plan, it's become my emotional escape from a life of chaos and lack. I'm no longer sinking, I'm swimming slowly but surely toward a better life. So let me ask you this: if you could afford $5 a day, if you could skip one fast food meal, one cup of coffee, one impulse purchase, what's really stopping you from starting today? You don't have to be perfect, you don't have to know everything, you just have to start. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it, mistakes, lessons, and everything. Because if someone like me was in debt, had no financial knowledge, and no confidence, could do it. The day I invested my first $5, I felt like I had opened a door into a world where people no longer lived in fear of swiping their cards, a door into a future I never thought was mine. But I won't lie to you, it wasn't an easy road. I had no major financial problems. No one told me what to buy, when to sell, or what to stay away from. I learned the only way I could. The third week after I started investing consistently, I stumbled upon a Reddit post about a tech stock that was exploding. Everyone was saying, "It's going to 10x. You're missing out if you don't get in today. This is a life-changing opportunity." And I thought, I only have $5 a day. Here's how I can make it multiply really fast. I put all my money, about $150, into the stock. A week later, the stock was down more than 40%. I panicked, I sold, and I lost more than $60. That was a lot for me at the time. Lesson number 1. After that shock, I tried to continue with the $5 per day plan, but I started jumping from stock to stock, Google today, Tesla tomorrow, then some unknown AI company next week. I invested. Emotionally, no research, no strategy, and then one day, I looked at my portfolio, emotional, more mistakes than gains, and nothing clear. I felt stupid, and that's when I stopped and asked myself, what is my goal? I remember watching a video that said, you don't invest for excitement, you invest for peace of mind. That hit me in the face. I started reading the first book, The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by John Bogle. Here's what I learned. Investing isn't gambling. It's not about catching the right wave. It's not about buying low and selling high every day. It's about choosing a simple, consistent strategy and implementing it over many years. I wiped out my portfolio. I started from scratch, but with a new mindset. I picked a simple ETF that represented the entire US market. I set it to auto-invest $5 a day. I stopped checking my account every hour. I stopped jumping back, and guess what? I started seeing results, not a 2-day, but 3 months. Then 6 months. Then a year. I started seeing consistent returns. I slept better. I stopped freaking out every time a wildfire started, because I knew I was doing the right thing. I learned that sensitivity trumps emotion. Investing consistently is more effective than trying to catch the top or the bottom. Understanding what is important in investing is more important than following hot advice, and especially, investing $5 per day is not just a number, it is a manifestation of discipline, belief, and long-term vision. I'm not saying I'm an expert, I'm not rich, but I'm grateful for those early mistakes, because without them, I wouldn't have the solid foundation I have today. And you don't have to be perfect to start, you just have to start and allow yourself to learn from the process. I researched, compared, and finally chose the investment vehicles that fit my simple, patient, and low-risk lifestyle. The first one I focused on was ETF Exchange Traded Fund. Why ETFs are a simple way to invest in hundreds of stocks at once. Risk is spread out, fees are extremely low, no need to pick winning stocks, you invest in the whole economy. Represents the 500 largest companies in the US, steady growth history, 8-10%/year. I invest here every day, no need to think much, too. VX US Vanguard Total International Stock ETF helps me diversify outside the US. About 20% of my portfolio is currently in this. 3. VNQ Vanguard Real Estate ETF, Commercial and Residential Real Estate. I had to increase the ability to withstand inflation. The formula I use is simple, 70% VO, 20% VX US, 10% VNQ. I automate everything by setting up an investment schedule every day through the brokerage app. The way I maintain my $5 a day is based on a very effective method, DCA dollar cost averaging. Simply put, I don't try to buy the best price, I buy every day, regardless of whether the market is up or down. This helps me avoid getting caught up in market emotions. When the market is down, I buy cheaper. When the market is up, my assets increase in value. DCA is the secret to keeping me calm in the storm. After those initial painful lessons, I set some rules of discipline. 1. No FOMO. If I see a news story that says this stock is going to go up 100%, I ignore it. 2. No cashing out when the market is down. Instead, I call it bearish, and I buy more. 3. No daily portfolio checks. I check once a month, and I don't change anything without a good reason. As of today, I have been investing $5 every day for over 2 years. Total investment, about $3,650. Current net worth, with gross profit over $4,400. Growth of about 20% is not great, but stable. Most importantly, I have built a habit of investing automatically, but what I find most valuable is not the number in my account. It is the belief I have in myself. I am no longer someone who just wants to get rich. I am someone who is building assets every day. No rush, no trade-offs. As my income increased, I didn't change my lifestyle too much. I did 3 things. 1. Increase my automatic investment to $7, then $10 per day. 2. Set up an emergency fund with 6 months of expenses. 3. Reinvest my dividends and don't take a dime out. Each of those small steps, over time, makes a big difference. If you ask me, so what's your secret? I wouldn't say stock X or fund Y, it's automate your investing, keep it simple, stick with it for the next 10 to 20 years. I used to wake up with the fear, what if I lose my job? What if my parents get sick? What if I get old and have nothing saved? Money wasn't a means to me, it was a fear, but when I started investing $5 a day, things started to change. I didn't become a millionaire, I didn't get rich overnight, but I gained something more important than money: control. Financial freedom isn't always about retiring at 30. Sometimes it's as simple as, dare to quit a job you hate, dare to say no to a meaningless project, dare to spend time with your children and parents, dare to pursue your passion without worrying about next month's salary. Freedom is a choice, and investing regularly, even just $5 a day, is how you buy back that right little by little. Don't let anyone tell you, what can $5 do? How slow will it take to get rich? The truth is, most people fail because they don't start small. Marathon runners don't start with 42 kilometers, they start with 1 kilometer. House builders don't start with a roof, they start with a foundation. And financially free people don't start with $1 billion, they start with $1 at a time. Today's $5 is the foundation. Today's habits are the cement, and time will be the silent architect who helps you build your castle. I won't lie to you, there were times when I wanted to stop, there were days when the market was red as hell, there were months when I had to borrow money to spend, there were times when investing felt pointless, but I realized, it's easy to give up, but living a life of anxiety is much worse. I don't invest just for the money, I invest because I don't want to let fear control my life anymore. Imagine, 10 years from now, you look back and see, you invest $5 every day, you skip a cup of bubble tea every week to buy stocks, you accumulate assets every month, you won't miss the things you didn't buy, you'll remember the feeling of security when you know, I'm moving towards freedom. You can start today no matter who you are. Are you a student? You can still start. Do you have a low-paying job? You should start. Are you in debt? $5 a day can be the first step to recovery. No one starts out perfect. The important thing is that you start. And you don't stop. Nu bandang zem video na iba cam thay, kong beat min ko lam duak kong, twa hu. Twa kung tung gi nu ve, and hung twa o de anoi boy ban, kong ai den q ban, kong ai len ko hoch tai chin cho ban fi lam du cho chin min, wa ban ko the lam du nai ham ne, chi kan 5 du, mod quiet din no, mod handong du dan. Ask yourself, am I living in a way that I will be thankful for, or regret, 10 years from now? You can do the right thing, you can change course, and you are not alone. If you found value in this video, don't just leave it at that. Subscribe to the channel to get more motivation and financial knowledge every week. Comment below, "I started today and I will be the first to cheer you on." Share this video with a friend in need. You could be the reason they change their life. Freedom is not a dream for someone else. It is a journey for you. And it starts with $5 today.